Only a handful of dawns remain before London erupts into scarlet pageantry, and already an electric expectancy crackles along the Mall. Camera crews are staking out their positions long before sunrise, souvenir stalls are selling out of miniature Union Jacks, and somewhere inside Kensington Palace 3 small pairs of shoes are being polished for the most photographed balcony appearance of the summer. Yes, Prince George, Princess Charlotte and the irrepressible Prince Louis are about to steal hearts once again, but beneath the inevitable wave of cuteness, a subtler drama is unfolding, one that could hint at the shape of the monarchy for decades to come. Trooping the Colour is no ordinary birthday party. It is a living time capsule. Infantry drills that once signaled survival on the battlefield have become a ritual pledge of loyalty between army and crown. At its heart stands a single question the nation asks of its sovereign family each June: will tradition remain unshaken, or will it, like those bright banners in the breeze, shift direction when the moment demands? This year, that question feels sharper than ever, because King Charles III is navigating cancer treatment, Queen Camilla is balancing consort duties with quiet caregiving, and the person everyone will be watching once the drums begin to roll is the 42-year-old heir to the throne. But what came next surprised even palace insiders. In the early hours of Monday morning, Kensington Palace confirmed that the Prince of Wales will ride at the very front of the household division, resplendent in the crimson tunic of the Welsh Guards. It is a uniform stitched with symbolism, the leek emblem that honours Wales, the dark blue order of the garter sash that signals senior knighthood, a neat row of Jubilee medals gleaming beside the newly issued Coronation Medal, and tucked just above the breast pocket his Royal Air Force wings, a quiet reminder that this prince once flew search and rescue helicopters over the Irish Sea. For the first time, William will perform the officer's salute that traditionally belongs to the monarch, a detail whispered to be his father's personal request. And that's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Because if William is leading the mounted column, where will the king be? The answer, confirmed by courtiers in measured tones, is a state landau drawn by Windsor Greys. Charles rode proudly in 2023, fulfilling a childhood dream of echoing his mother's equestrian grandeur. Yet last year, after the diagnosis no one saw coming, he traded reins for carriage cushions to conserve stamina. Doctors say the treatment cycle leaves his energy flickering unpredictably. One day he is briskly shaking hands outside a cancer center, the next he must postpone meetings behind palace gates. A mile-long parade in full-dress uniform under June sunshine, no less, is no trivial exertion at 76. Choosing the coach is pragmatic, but it is also a candid admission that even kings must listen to their bodies. Here's where the narrative tightens. Every step William takes in that scarlet tunic will be measured against his father's gentle withdrawal from the saddle. The image of heir and monarch moving together, one on horseback, one behind crystal carriage windows, perfectly captures a dynasty in mid-stride, handing responsibility forward without relinquishing authority. Will the crowds lining Whitehall catch the symbolism? Or will their cheers drown out the subtleties? Either way, the footage will resonate far beyond Britain's borders. Of course, no royal chapter is complete without a California subplot. On the very evening Trooping commands London's skies, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, will walk a different red carpet, this one in Los Angeles, at the Natural History Museum's Night of Wonder Gala. She is slated to receive an award for initiatives that spotlight underserved communities. The timing is more than coincidence. Publicists on both sides of the Atlantic know headlines collide as easily as continents do. While William salutes regimental colors first unfurled in the 18th century, cameras in Hollywood will flash for a duchess who chose reinvention over royal restraint. Is it rivalry, or simply two parallel lives spinning outward from the same palace foyer? The internet will decide within minutes. And that's when things started to change 3 summers ago, to be precise, when Queen Elizabeth limited her Jubilee balcony to working royals only, effectively freezing Meghan and Harry on the ground below. That moment hardened a line that still shapes who may stand shoulder to shoulder with the sovereign in front of the RAF fly past. Trooping 2025 will honour that rule, meaning we will see the Wales children, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, Princess and in naval black, and a tableau conspicuously absent of California. Tradition, it seems, has long memory. Yet William's week is not all sabres and saddle leather. During his children's half-term, the prince briefly escaped the limelight, but his voice has already returned to screens via a documentary series inspired by Sir David Attenborough. In a newly released segment timed for World Ocean Day, William discusses coral regeneration, deep-sea mining and, in a nod to his own Earthshot Prize, the financial engines needed to rescue marine ecosystems. The conversation ends with a promise. Momentum is building ahead of next year's UN Ocean Conference, the ocean can recover, and work has begun. Some might hear an environmental plea, seasoned diplomats hear something else as well, a future monarch polishing the art of global advocacy. If evidence were needed, look no further than last Saturday. While his father rested at Highgrove, William flew to Portugal for the Blue Economy and Finance Forum, standing alone at the lectern before a wall of international flags. The photographs filtered back to Britain, Prince in dark suit, sea blue tie, underscoring wind turbine funding targets and carbon-neutral shipping lanes. No entourage, no spouse, no uniform, just a charismatic envoy turning family passion into foreign policy. That speech, say insiders, was crafted with minimal staff input and approved directly by Downing Street, hinting at the diplomatic latitude William now enjoys. But what does all this mean for Trooping Day itself? Imagine the scene, the first rumble of kettle drums rolling down Birdcage Walk, 1,400 soldiers snapping to attention, the gilded state coach emerging through palace gates as trumpets herald God Save the King. Behind it, atop a bay charger, William, in that vivid red Welsh Guards coat, guides his horse with measured patience, a living bridge between his father's example and his own generation's duty. Spectators will scan for the playful royal children at the windows, Charlotte reminding Louis to stand still, George practicing the salute he may one day perform in earnest. Overhead, typhoons roar in diamond formation, trailing plumes of color across an early summer sky. And then, the hush, as the royal family steps onto the balcony. Cameras flash, millions freeze the frame, historians note who stands where. Here's where the story takes another twist. Palace officials confirm that Prince William's uniform will bear not only the leek of Wales but, for the first time at Trooping, the subtle green lapel pin of the Earthshot Alliance. It is tiny, blink and you might miss it, yet loaded with intent, blending centuries-old military honor with a brand-new crusade against climate collapse. Critics who dismiss royal ceremony as empty spectacle may feel a jolt of recognition in that single green dot. Perhaps pageantry can, after all, broadcast urgency in ways press conferences cannot. Meanwhile, across the ocean, the Night of Wonder Gala is expected to livestream a brief acceptance speech from Meghan. Insiders hint she will reference girls' education, wildlife conservation and, pointedly, the importance of telling your own story. Will that line echo like a distant drum across St. James's Park? Or float away on the Pacific breeze? Time zones may separate their audiences, but social media collapses distance faster than any royal carriage. Yet all eyes ultimately return to the king. Those close to Charles say he insisted on participating, carriage or no carriage. His doctors, sources claim, drafted contingency plans for every quarter-mile of the route, complete with discreet medical staff mingling among footmen. The monarch's determination recalls his mother's famous mantra, "I have to be seen to be believed." By choosing visibility over convalescence, Charles sends an unmistakable signal: the crown endures, even when its bearer confronts mortality. Still, questions linger. If the king's condition stabilizes, might he ride again next year? Or will this be the new template, a sovereign observing from the comfort of a coach while the heir embodies the martial heart of the ceremony? Veteran commentators suggest the latter, arguing that Trooping is slowly becoming a dual portrait, monarch as statesman, heir as commander. Such evolution has precedent. In 1951, an ailing George VI watched his daughter take the salute in his place. 12 months later, she was queen. History does not repeat, but it often rhymes. And that brings us back to those three young faces in the palace windows. George, now turning 12, is rumored to be rehearsing a junior salute in front of his bedroom mirror. Charlotte, almost 10, reportedly corrects his posture with mock sergeant sternness. Louis, 6, prefers improvisation. Last year he covered his ears when the RAF thundered overhead, launching 1,000 memes. They represent the far horizon of the monarchy, and Trooping 2025 will be their first close-up lesson in how duty adapts when circumstance intrudes. Will they remember their grandfather's quiet resilience, Their father's confident leadership, their absent aunt's alternative path? In time, perhaps. For now, they will simply wave, stare wide-eyed at the helicopters, and plant another layer of memory onto the institution's living archive. So, as carriages are polished, uniforms pressed, and last-minute rehearsals echo through the tunnels beneath Horse Guards Parade, a question hangs in the warm evening air. Does the enduring power of trooping lie in its unchanging choreography, or in its capacity to fold new realities into ancient forms? We will find out together when the gates swing open on June 14th. If you want to experience every beat of that unfolding drama, from the first cannon blast to the final salute, stay right here. Tap like if the interplay of tradition and transformation fascinates you. Subscribe and ring that bell so our coverage finds you the moment William reins in his mount, the moment the king raises a gloved hand, the moment three small heirs giggle at the roar overhead. Because in the grand theatre of monarchy, the smallest gestures can foreshadow the biggest shifts, and this year's performance promises more subtext than ever. Keep watching. The story is only just beginning.